Every year at MadeIN, we put together an amazing Thanksgiving menu. I start working on it in the summertime, and it's one of my favorite things to work on. Last year, we got a turkey from Tom Colicchio, we got a lovely braised cabbage from Ashama Bailey, and we got a stuffing from Nancy Silverton. I knew I had a big challenge ahead to try to top last year's menu. To get started, we think about which chefs we want to reach out to. So who's doing cool stuff that year? Who haven't we worked with in the past on the Thanksgiving menu? Who do we want to highlight? So heading into Thanksgiving and holiday season, we're really focusing on our core products. So I start to think about which cookware we want to feature, which dishes might pair well with that, and which chefs to bring it all together. We want to reach out across the country via email, via text to put out the feelers and see what we can come back with. So at this point, I start to get recipes in from the chefs, and they come in all different forms. They can be a spreadsheet, they can be chicken scratch on a napkin, they come in all different ways. My biggest challenge is formatting the recipes from chef recipes and restaurant recipes to something that a home cook can read. So, taking a recipe for 100 pies and shrinking it down to one. One chef I was really excited to work with was Chef Matt Horn of Horn Barbecue out in Oakland. He gave me a beautiful Southern style stuffing with gizzards and gravy recipe. It seemed pretty straightforward. It has smoked sausage, classic aromatics, it has turkey gizzards, and the interesting thing about it is it has half cornbread and half French bread. So those two breads are married together to make this stuffing. So yeah, the first time I made the stuffing, I wasn't quite sure how to incorporate the cornbread and the French bread. I kind of barely folded them together, and they were a bit more like croutons, so the result was a little dry. I had a hard time with the gizzards because I was working on this recipe in September and I couldn't find turkey gizzards anywhere, so I bought chicken gizzards. But chicken gizzards are a lot smaller than turkey gizzards, so I went through, maybe 2 packs of chicken gizzards just to get enough for this recipe. So a few emails back and forth, and Chef Horn offered to come to Austin to our MadeIN headquarters and show us how to make his stuffing in the MadeIN studio. So after about 24 hours of driving straight to Texas, Chef Horn showed up and we got to work.
Okay, so the history of this dish comes from my grandmothers, right? They used to make traditional style stuffing using white bread, gizzards, sausage, that sort of thing. I wanted to be able to come together, create a dish, and do something a little bit different. And so I've added some really cool ingredients for add a little bit more depth and flavor.
When Chef Horn got here, I told him that the stuffing had come out a little bit dry, and we started talking about how to solve that.
We'll solve that issue by adding a little bit more moisture to that, and that's where our stock comes in. We're gonna add some other things into it. It's gonna kind of throw you off a little bit.
Okay.
So we have our cornbread baked off here. We wanna cut this in really cool squares.
So we're going for kind of bite size?
Yeah, you wanna go for a bite size. By doing that, it'll allow all of the bread to be able to adhere and to absorb all of the different ingredients, right? So you have this nice full loaf of the French bread, really nice and firm, and this is really great. Cut a few slices here. These are the pieces that you're looking for in here. As you can see with this white bread, they're not consistent, they're inconsistent, because that's the way that grandma used to do it, right?
So Chef Horn showed me exactly how to tear up the bread, and I think the pieces were a little bit bigger than the ones I had been working with. We dried it out on sheet trays in the oven, and then we got to work on the aromatic base.
The gizzards here. This is something that is used in so many different Southern dishes. Gizzards have a very interesting texture. I want to say maybe slightly tougher than chicken.
So don't throw away that little packet that comes inside the turkey?
Don't throw away the gizzards. Keep the pack that comes in the turkey. You want to use that because it's very versatile. I mean, you can use it for your stuffing, the dressing. You can also use it to make gravy. Do not throw it away, keep it.
And Chef, I noticed something. Do you want to tell me about this bacon?
Our bacon, right? You know what, that's our secret ingredient there.
Yeah, what is that gonna do?
So we wanna use the fats from the bacon, but then also that really rich bacon flavor. It's just one of those added ingredients that's just gonna take the flavor to the next level.
And that bacon really added extra fat, extra smoky flavor with the gizzards and the smoked sausage and then those sauteed aromatics.
Like I said, the whole purpose of this dish is to literally layer flavor. We want to build up as much flavor as possible. We don't want the stuffing just to be that underrated side dish when you're with your family, right?
It's gonna be the star.
Right, you can already smell it. I wish you guys could smell that through the camera right now.
That is looking and smelling so good.
What I would like to do now, we're gonna add a little bit more butter. You can never have too much butter in these Southern dishes, right? And then we'll add in our rosemary, our thyme, our sage, and those are the smells that used to travel throughout the kitchen.
Maybe that's what I did wrong. I didn't add the herbs to the frying pan. I just folded them into the stuffing mixture.
It's definitely gonna open them up.
See, I didn't have the bacon. I didn't put the herbs in the frying pan. Now I know. Sorry I had to come all the way from Oakland to...
No, look, anytime you're working on a dish, I know you don't need my help, but if you ever need my help, I will drive from Oakland any day of the week.
Do you guys get that on camera?
So what we're gonna do now, let's combine this together, all right?
Okay. Just dump it in?
Let's dump it in here. Now we wanna add in our stock. And now let's mix all of these ingredients together.
And I brought your salt and pepper.
Perfect. So you have a lot of those flavors that are in there. And you can see right here, what I'm doing is, I'm not mashing it up too much, just kind of mixing this together. You don't want to mix it up too much where you break everything down and it becomes grainy. There we go, look at that.
Looks so pretty.
Beautiful color, texture. The egg's gonna act as a binder. It'll kind of hold everything together. This is what we're looking for right there. I mean, you can almost just eat it like this, right?
Everything came together with the bread in a more cohesive, more flavorful mixture. Those bigger chunks of cornbread got broken up as he was folding and incorporating just everything all together. I think I had left mine a little bit more piecey, which is maybe why it got more dried out, because it was more individual kind of pieces of bread. But his was really incorporated. All those aromatics were really worked in.
And so what I'm gonna do now that it's in the bacon dish, we just wanna take it and we just wanna kind of level it out. You don't want it to be dry. So you can see in the pan, I'm kind of sealing, the sides of it.
Yeah.
So as it bakes, we keep a lot of that moisture in there. And before it goes into the oven, we're gonna grab butter, more butter.
More butter.
And we wanna get a really nice crispy texture. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our foil on here. Foil's there. We're gonna put it inside the oven at 350 for about 40 minutes. What we're gonna do is we're gonna bake the inside of it. Once we get that nice moisture on it, towards the end of finishing it, we're gonna pull the foil away, and then that's when we're gonna finish our dish.
He pressed it into the baking dish, which I think gave it more contact with the sides of the dish, thus creating a more golden brown, crunchy stuffing. It was moist in the center, but crispy around the edges, and just amazing. Now I think I understand what you're going for here. I can really see how all of the ingredients are so well incorporated. It still looks nice and moist, but also golden brown and delicious. So I know you call for gravy in this recipe.
Right.
And there's no Thanksgiving meal complete without gravy. So I did make a little white wine gravy.
Wow.
Did I do okay?
No, that's better than okay. That's phenomenal.
Thank you, Chef.
What are the holidays without a little bit of this gravy here, right?
That looks amazing.
Okay.
I'm gonna take the big one.
All right, let's do it. See that nice good texture there, right?
Cutting into it, it's crunching.
Wow.
This is so much better than my version.
This is delicious.
I think the bacon was an amazing addition. I mean, what is not better with a little bacon? It gave it a little extra fat, even more smokiness. I feel like your version, everything is so much more well incorporated. Even when I was watching you kind of pack it into the dish a little bit more and create almost like that seal. I really thank you for showing me this, because
No, absolutely.
I feel like now I get the secrets of the MadeIN stuffing.
I'm glad. All those fine details literally has gotten us to where we are, right? And yeah, no, it's great. I mean, you're already a great chef. You're gonna be able to take this to the next level, and I'm glad to be able to do this with you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I really loved seeing Chef MadeIN cook in our kitchen, sauteing all those aromatics, working the bacon and the smoked sausage and the gizzards all together. And I think I really learned from him how to layer flavor, especially in this dish, because when I took a bite of it, it was incredible. MadeIN, thank you so much for coming and sharing your recipe with us. I've got a few weeks before Thanksgiving to kind of bring this all together and help our chefs at home achieve a beautiful Thanksgiving meal. And I know it's going to be that much more special with your stuffing on the table.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Trying to put together a perfect menu at home don't overthink it. I grew up around my grandparents where we would have large tables with all this abundance of food. If you're just cooking for yourself or one other or just a few people, put together dishes that you love, have fun with it, and don't overthink it.
After Chef Horn left, I took everything that I had learned from him and tried the stuffing one more time. So I started with the cornbread. I got my French bread, I cubed them up, I dried them out. Then I got all my aromatics and herbs ready to go. So I sauteed the gizzards, the smoked sausage, the bacon. I worked in the onion, the bell pepper, and the celery, added the herbs, and folded that in with the bread combination. Added my broth, added the eggs, worked that all together, pressed it into the baking dish, slid it into the oven, and out came the perfect stuffing. I just want to thank Chef Matt Horn so much for coming all the way to Austin and showing us how to make his fabulous stuffing. It's one of the best stuffing recipes I've ever had. If you want more recipe inspiration, go to madeincookware.com. And happy Thanksgiving, y'all.